The next story we got here is the official announcement, anyway, of the Avengers 2, which is officially titled now the Avengers Age of Ultron, which I'm sure threw a lot of people for a loop because at the end of the Avengers, everyone thought, oh, okay, well, they're just going to go straight into Thanos being the bad guy and wreck shit up. But no, it's going to be this Ultron storyline. I don't really know too much about the Ultron storyline, but Quan, I know you have quite a bit of info about it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it kind of made me think because they're using the Age of Ultron name, and it's like they just released this whole series called the Age of Ultron, and it's like it was a big deal for like canon and everything, but them doing a movie about it, it's like okay, so this is obviously going to be an origin film because you haven't really introduced Ultron yet. And them doing like an Ant-Man movie, setting up that, Hank Pym, because he created Ultron, that's another one of those things like, how are they going to tie that up? Ultron affects the Avengers' lives throughout like a long history of comic books. So it's kind of like introducing a really big second pivotal villain like that. You already opened it up because Ultron technically can't really be destroyed.
Well, and, in saying it like that, it's also very interesting because there again, I think we stumbled across another way of telling comic book movies.
Yeah.
We introduced Thanos in Avengers 1, but he's not the main villain for Avengers 2.
Oh.
It's like they're setting him up for Avengers 3, which creates a whole other type of arc. That kind of thing. It's across not just one movie, but he's supposed to be in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So, as well. I shouldn't say Guardians of the Galaxy 2. As well.
Yeah.
We'll wait on that. We'll wait on
yeah, eventually, hopefully.
Thanos is like a really big deal. Like, he has affected every Marvel character's life.
Well, we know the Infinity Gauntlet is in this universe, I believe. I think that's a thing. So
it's kind of like reveal, but not really officially.
Yeah, it's never officially been announced, but that's what we're looking for.
But
really,
it being in relation to Ultron, it's kind of like making me think. Okay, so they're bringing in, like, for instance, Thanos. Thanos has been around for a long time. Ultron, he of course has been around for a long time because they can't necessarily kill Ultron. He can always come back as something else.
Kind of like Apocalypse in a way.
Basically,
a little bit.
And so having these two major hardcore villains for like starting off, they really want to make this huge sense of continuity because it's like they can bring these characters back. Right. Even if they were to defeat them in a film, who's to say that they couldn't come back in another film?
Exactly. And that's kind of like the big thing, like when you introduce characters like this or like Apocalypse when we were talking about the X-Force film, is that you have these enemies who you can always kind of bring back, and they're they can really encompass like a large number of characters and teams, and just really spin off into all sorts of things. And it's sitting on a gold mine, honestly. Sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah, and they haven't tackled it correctly. That's the thing. Like, nobody's done it right yet.
Yeah.
That's the thing. This is the opportunity to do that.
And starting off with like hardcore villains, it's kind of like, you set the bar like really, 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 really high. So it's kind of like everybody, especially people who've gotten into the recent stories from Marvel, like the whole thing, Thanos Rising.
Yeah.
Like that's supposed to be like a huge thing that affects Marvel canon. So like having that introduced, it's kind of like, oh, so you're writing this to kind of go with like, get what I'm saying? Like there's obviously a plan here. I think by opening up with large villains like this, they open up more possibilities, which is good.
That's what you want to happen.
Yeah, you really do. Like Thanos, it's funny because Thanos was the most oddball choice for starting off with Avengers villains, but he was the smartest one because since he affects all of their lives, it's like, it doesn't matter.
Well, and he has a story that can be told across multiple stories. He's not just a throwaway one-shot villain the Mandarin.
Yeah, it's kind of like
obviously that's what we're considering him now.
Right. That's a whole other conversation. But you're going to see Nick Fury's character throughout a ton of these films, which that's cool. You're doing that for a villain now. Like you already you set the stage for that, and so. Who's to say, like, all of the movies that come either between or after or whatever, who's to say, or the shows, the mini movies, because, there's so many things that they can do. They already wrote canon for, like, Marvel Comics into the movie format, so it's kind of like, you're going that direction. You know, I can see it. You know,
Yeah.
you're definitely going that
Do
direction.
more of it.
Yeah,
You know,
serious. You know, you have comic fans, and then you have fans that are new fans, and you have fans who are fans of the movies, who, you know, are story enthusiasts, don't know a lot about characters. It's a way to kind of bridge the gap, you know, to make it better for all of us, because comic fans complain about all of the older films, whereas a lot of the newer audiences love them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, still one of my gripes today is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Like, that
I mean,
film is abysmal.
and
I
we-
don't care what anybody says. Like,
and-
you may love it or whatever, but it's a terrible Spider-Man film.
and
Like,
and we
it
talk
is
about that.
awful.
We talk about that quite a bit.
I believe you. I believe you.
A video on how bad
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2
I would
really
agree.
is, and you just don't know it.
I would definitely agree.